All right, Bruna, let's see what you got here for your Boudoir Facebook ad. Yeah, and basically, if you're not getting as many women through as you want buying, or a lot of the women are ghosting the conversations, um, or price hunters that ghost when they hear the price, or not as many bookings or buyers as you want, this will help, kind of these mistakes that you're making in your ad. Um, Fixing those will actually help you get more of what you want and less of what you don't. So I've already kind of these 10 mistakes I'm going to talk about today. I've already used them with other Boudoir Facebook ads that other businesses have actually been running. I kind of just like saw them, took them, tested them, kind of original, and then test them when I fixed my mistakes or fixed the mistakes they had on them. And kind of on average, I get 2 to 4 times the women actually clicking, consuming our ad, considering our offer. And these women are actually more specific. So we're going to higher volume of more specific women, and more specific in general usually means higher converting because they feel like we're more for them for their specific situation. So it's kind of and framework then when you're looking at your ad through. So top 10 mistakes starting now. So first one is, does it look like an ad? No, it doesn't look like an ad. So it's good. It looks like an organic post. That's what we want. We want to make it look like it's like an organic post someone would have on their Facebook page. Because if it's not, it looks like an ad. People are scrolling by. They don't want to be sold to. And the reason why this doesn't look like an ad is no text on it, no offer on the image. So that's good. All right, so no mistake there. So we're gonna have more people consuming the ad, not scrolling by, making the ad algorithm happy, sending it to able to find the right women to put this in front of easier when we have more people engaging with the ad, consuming the ad. All right, the next 4 out of 10 mistakes can happen up here, the see more headline. Basically, like here. First 2 3/4 of the headline, see more headline. But this is basically where 80% of the ad spend is won or lost, and this is where we really, really focus a ton of our time and attention. Getting super specific up here. So the first thing we look at is a who. The kind of 4 specific attributes we want to have up here is a who. Who are we speaking to? What is their like a self-label we could put here, where they would read it and say, oh my God, that's me. And look at that, you do got a who. Scorpio girlies. So, hey, that's good. So any women that, identifies with that, feels that she is that, it's going to capture her attention. And honestly, as they're scrolling down the feed, people really don't register this highlighted part up here until they get here. Like their subconscious doesn't register it because they're kind of scrolling fast and their brain's picking out a few words because all the rest of the ad copy is actually hidden in the feed. So I get here, and then their brain registers Scorpio girlies, and then all right, and then they come back up to actually read it. So that's good. So it means we're gonna have more specific person coming through, better ad metrics. Um, they're gonna feel our offer is more for them, which means more qualified conversations, better conversations, more bookings, more consults, more photo shoots, more buyers, more revenue. All right, so you got that. The next thing we want to have is a negative, like a negative experience. What are women saying in their brains that they want to get away from, that they don't want to deal with anymore? Kind of a negative experience or pain that they want to get away from. And we always put this first because humans take action to get away from pain and get, back to baseline, back to normal or default or homeostasis at literally 100x the rate that they'll move from a normal or homeostasis or kind of default to take an action to get, a gain or a pleasure or something like that. So example would be, going to the dentist. Okay, we got our 6 month teeth cleaning, and okay, teeth are much better. And then we're paying. Then secretary ladies are like, yeah, the secretary ladies are saying, hey, are you free 173 days from now at 7:45 a.m.? We're like, dude, I ain't got no clue, no idea. Text me when we're closer and I actually know my schedule. So they start contacting us month 4, month 5 to try to get us in, get us booked, but we ignore them. We're busy, we got stuff going on, and the gain or the pleasure or the positive experience of having slightly cleaner teeth is not enough to get us to take action and put that appointment on our calendar. Then month 8, month 10, month 12, month 14, they text us a little bit, some follow-up reminders. We still ignore it. We're still busy. Yeah, I guess we could have a little bit cleaner teeth, but it's just not, again, the positive is not strong enough for us to put the appointment on our calendars and, break our current schedule. Then, month 12 rolls around or whatever, month 14. And we're eating breakfast, lunch, dinner, and every single day or every single meal that day, and one of our teeth is killing us no matter what we eat. And then, when we go to sleep, our teeth's throbbing and we can't sleep at all. So the next day, we call up the dentist's office and we're like, trying to set an appointment for tomorrow. And we're like, dude, what do you mean you don't have space at 8:15 a.m. tomorrow? My tooth's killing me here. I'm dying. I'm dying here. And they're like, well, look, we're booked out 2-3 weeks right now. We can get you in 3 weeks, but we can't get you in now. Which our tooth's killing us. So we should call up a bunch of other dentist's office. Someone gets us in for the next day tomorrow. And we're like, oh my God, finally. I'm back at baseline, back at no pain. Back to normal. But you see, 14 months, the slight positive, again, slightly cleaner teeth, maybe peace of mind, no cavities, was not enough to get us to take action. So that positive was not strong enough to get us to take action. But literally one day, 24 hours of negative, breakfast, lunch, dinner, pain, sleep, pain, can't actually go to sleep because our tooth's throbbing throughout the night. Just 24 hours of pain. And oh yeah, dude, we're taking action the next morning, calling up dentist's office, calling whoever, because we got to get this pain, got to get away from this pain, solve this pain. And so as you can see, humans move away from pain to get back to normal 100x more than they move, taking action to move from normal to some, gain, some pleasure, something positive. So that is why we put the negative first. And we do not have a negative here. All right, so no negative, which means, all right, the women who identified with our who, our self-label, the Scorpios. So we're missing out on some Scorpios, actually, a lot of them, honestly, because they're not seeing anything more, extra specific attributes relevant to them. So yeah, they're Scorpios, but yeah, a lot of them keep scrolling. And so we're getting less results from our ad, less bookings, less conversations. Learn more. Let's see where you're going with this. I don't even know. Boutique Boudoir. Okay, probably like one of your website sales pages. So yeah, you're getting less bookings, less inquiries, less qualified inquiries, more price hunters, more price objections, blah, blah, blah. Then the ad starts going to worse people over time too, actually. All right, so no negative. Now we want to have a positive here. So we're bringing people in that want to get away from this pain, but also want this positive. But again, positive is just kind of being more specific, kind of the magnitude of how much the positive would impact them doesn't really matter. It's just having an extra specific attribute. So birthday, this birthday was so the gift of self-love. So that's a positive there. Yeah, gift of free confidence. We'd want you La Jolla Studio. Okay, so you're out in like San Diego. All right, so you got the positive, that's good. So that will call in the women who are Scorpios and they're saying into themselves, you know, I want some self-love right now. Oh, and it's my birthday, so birthday. Yeah, that's actually a specific attribute I've never talked about in that video, in a video yet, but that is the specific attribute of time. So it's not one of our top 4 specific attributes, but if we had extra space, yeah, it's kind of like one of our sub specific attributes that, yeah, for that reason, I don't really talk about that much. And most of the time it's because we can't fit it in the Seymour headline. But all right, so you got a time here. I'm not going to count it for anything, but I'm just going to explain that. Okay, for birth, so Scorpios, yeah, I do want, they're saying to themselves, yeah, I do want some self-love on my birthday. So, okay, you're getting nice and specific here. That's good. So we're going to have more of the right women coming in, more, and we honestly, as we get more specific for like the first 2 or 3 specific attributes, we actually get more women to engage on our ads, even though we get more specific. That's because our ads are going to higher quality prospects off the jump because we got more specific. And so we're going to have, yeah, more inquiries, more bookings, more qualified leads, more women, you know, booking, buying, actually showing up to the photo shoot. And the final thing that we want to have in the Seymour headline up here before it gets cut off, because it gets cut off right here, and it'll say ... Seymour, and all this stuff here is hidden. The last thing we want to have in the Seymour headline is a hesitation or roadblock. So what are women saying in their brains that's stopping them from getting, you know, or basically getting a boudoir photo shoot done? Or maybe they're seeing from other boudoir photographers they're considering, but they're saying to themselves, oh, I don't want to do that, or oh, I wish they had that. So a hesitation or roadblock. And so yeah, we're missing that. So we're not being as specific as we could be. So we're not going to be calling in as many specific qualified women who feel our solution is specifically for them. We're not going to be actually getting. So we're going to be getting fewer book calls, fewer qualified leads, qualified contacts, a lot of like non-buyers, a lot of price hunters, a lot of what's the price because they don't feel it's for them, and which will lead to our ad going to worse and worse people over time. We'll also convert at a lower rate, lower is going to kind of the first tranche, and then forcing our ad to burn out. All right, so that's the Seymour headline, and this is where literally 80% of ad spend is won or lost, is in the Seymour headline. We got to call in the right people, meet them in the conversation they're having in their head with actually tested data that tells us the conversation they're actually having in their head. So we don't even have to know it. We can actually just rip through and the data will tell us. All right, let's see what else you got here. We're gifting a free confidence boudoir shoe. All right, that's solution. No bonus points for having that in the Seymour headline. So next we're going to look at the body copy. So the Seymour headline is basically like hook 1 to get them to click Seymour to read the rest of our ad copy. Then we need a hook 2, which we'd like to have being a authority hook. So why should women listen to you? What authority do you have with boudoir or photography or things like that? So we're missing that, which means yeah, some women click Seymour, but less of them are gonna, basically less of them are gonna read through the ad copy, get pre-qualified, and be. So we're gonna have lower converting leads, a smaller number of. Well, we're gonna have a smaller number of high quality leads that are coming through because they didn't read the full thing. They didn't get pre-qualified, but I guess it's good enough for them to click, learn more or something. So, all right, so we're missing that. So missing them, a reason for them to keep reading. And then the next mistake that can happen in the body copy is not having kind of like a story or a narrative that reflects, you know, women's like life right now, as if we had a third-party video camera, recording them in like third person, and we're describing kind of what's going on in their life right at this moment. So we're missing that. And since we're missing that, we're missing, our second punch of our 1-2 punch, where punch one is the see more headline, meeting people the conversation are having in their brain, and they're reading it like, oh my God, that's me. And then down here, where we want to have a story narrative, that's where they're saying, oh my God, that's my life right now. So that's the 1-2 punch that makes us super specific, turns us into a market of one, and literally makes us the only option for them, because nobody's ever spoken to so specifically to them before. And so let's see. So yeah, we're missing that story / narrative. And the final thing is we want to have our full offer here, because our goal with these ads is always to expose as many people as possible to the offer. Because obviously, let's say if you can get 10 more people to know your offer exists, obviously you're probably gonna have more buyers, right? And we kind of double stack that with being more specific. We get more people and they're more specific, which is what I showed at the beginning of the video. I average 2 to 4x more people who are also more specific seeing our full offer. So we want the full offer here, and let's see what you got here. So free confidence boudoir shoot. Here's your offer. Professional hair makeup. Yep. Nice. Red box. Okay. Yeah, that's unique. I've never read that in another ad. Access to our new method. Okay. Want to shine. Click things. Schedule your call. Birthday again. Okay. Hey, this is good. So yeah, good full offer, nice and meaty. A lot of really good details. So yeah, this is really good because Facebook determines who to send our ad to by, who has converted, which will be a small data set, but a much larger data set is who actually clicked on the ad. And, that has weighting in Meta's ad algorithm is who clicked on it. And then Meta goes to look through, hey, what are the data points on the people that have clicked? And let's show the ad to other Meta profiles that are similar in data points, on the profiles to the people that clicked and also the people that converted. So there's some weighting for the clickers, weighting in the meta ad score, back-end hidden meta ad score for people that are clicking on the ad. The link click to actually go off platform. And so this is filtering the women that would not want that. So that's good. We're getting the women that do not want this. So they click see more, they liked our headline, but they didn't like our ad copy, or they didn't like what we were offering. Cool, they sail on by, they never click learn more, they never click on the ad to go to the next page. So that's good. So they're excluded from Meta sending our ads to more people like them, which is good because it wasn't for them. So this helps ads sustain, get more Boudoir clients, more bookings. Don't need to restart ads as much, more qualified clients. Really good, nice. The final two mistakes, numbers 9 and 10, go down here to the bottom of the ad. So mistake 9 is having anything below the ad. We don't want to have a BCH, a below creative headline, and we do not want to have a button. And the reason for that, so there's 3 reasons. Reason 1 is 5% of the reason it's a mistake is because, down here, stuff down here makes it look more like an ad, which means less people are going to consume, kind of our ad copy by clicking see more, which happens literally right, right up here. So less people are going to be consuming the ad. So we're getting less qualified peeps. Meta thinks our ad's trash. And our ad, as a result, our ad goes to less qualified people over time. So we get less and less results over time, aka our ad burns out pretty fast. And we got to refresh creative, new ads, all this garbage. So, and then 15% The reason we don't want to have anything here is this is a position where, okay, women are scrolling, they're scrolling, they see, maybe like 1/3 of the words here in the See More headline before they keep scrolling. And those words don't register in their subconscious till they get like here. And then they realize they saw Scorpio, birthday, confidence. Not the full sentences, but their subconscious remembers kind of few keywords or key phrases when they get here. So here, well, most people is they do not have congruent words or phrases as to what they have up here. So it's just super high probability that there's incongruent messaging, which triggers the error detection network in the brain, signaling error, incongruent, confusing, keep scrolling. Kind of automatically, their subconscious does this. Now Scorpio, so you got Scorpio, you got birthday, you got gift, you got confidence. So actually yours is fine, but there's no actually real boost. So the highest probability is this will be a mistake. So we'll screw up something. Super low probability that people get it right. Okay, you got it right. But by the time they get here, the brain has registered this sentence anyways. And if this See More headline is relevant to them, they're going to be scrolling up anyways. And so this did not make them scroll up. They were going to scroll up anyways. But this can make them keep scrolling down if it's incongruent. So we always want to keep this off, keep it blank. And then 80% of the reason for this mistake 9 is this stuff down here, the button, the below creative headline, the words, it gives people an opportunity to click and go to the next page without clicking See More and reading the rest of the ad. So they're not coming over pre-qualified. And remember, one of the pools that Meta decides who to send our ad to is who has clicked on the ad. And then Meta tries to send the ad to more people who has clicked on the ad, and with some weighting, weighted equation of people that have converted, but people that have clicked on the ad does weight into Meta's ad algorithm's decisions. So we do not want anything under here to give them the opportunity to click over before reading the full thing, getting pre-qualified, and deciding it's fully for them. That keeps our link click to conversion rate high and our overall conversion rate high if we remove the things at the bottom and they only come after becoming pre-qualified, which helps our ads sustain and actually go to better people over time and kind of grow and sustain. The final mistake would be, which I don't know if you're making this, but the final mistake would be your objective. So most Boudoir Facebook ads I've seen, people are using the leads objective. That is always a mistake because Meta will go to the 6% slice of your city, the Meta profiles in your city that we're targeting. And it'll go to the 6% that, are like 95th percentile, aka highest probability to fill out a lead form. And so, but there's nothing about booking a call, showing up to the call, responding to any emails, buying. We're not telling the ad or Meta ad algorithm to go to people that do those other actions. We're telling it to go to people that just fill out lead forms or fill out, just fill out a inquiry form, request form, whatever. So I don't know what objective you're using, but leads is definitely always the wrong one because there's nothing about buyer data points on the profiles. So yeah, a few will have buyer data points, but most will not. So that'll be like a lot of low intent leads, the Groupon leads, the price hunters. Well, you're actually doing free shoot, but now even with this, other boudoir photographers I've talked with, their strategy is free shoot, upsell, digital physical products on the back end. And I've heard a lot like, man, people ain't got no money. Well, yeah, dude, because one, we're using leads objective, which nothing about buyer behavior on those meta profiles, and two, we're talking about a free shoot. So if you're using both, that's a double whammy for non-money people. All right, so that is all 10 mistakes. So let's give you a score here, and then we'll compare you against all the other boudoir ads that I've seen. kind of like the average score in the boudoir industry, the other boudoir photographers. So does it look like an ad? Nope. So it's not a mistake. A who, not a mistake. A negative, missing that. Mistake. Positive, you got that. Not a mistake. Hesitation slash roadblock, missing that. Mistake. And then I move to the ad copy. Authority, don't have that mistake. Narrative, story slash narrative, don't have that mistake. Below creative headline, or you've got below creative headline and a button, mistake. And then your objective, half a mistake, we don't know what that is. So 5.5 out of 10 mistakes, which is super good. You tied with some woman I reviewed yesterday. She also got 5.5, which is, yeah, I think that's the best scores I've ever given out. And the average in the boudoir industry is 8 out of 10 mistakes. So yeah, this is really good, really good, really good work. But for boudoir Facebook ads that have more than 2 out of 10 mistakes, they're considered broken down boudoir ads, similar to a broken down car. So what does that mean? It's not working right, it's broken. It's broken down. And where do we bring a broken down car that's not working right? We bring it to a car mechanic. So where do you think we bring a broken down boudoir Facebook ad? Bring it to a boudoir Facebook ad mechanic. So I've got a boudoir Facebook ad mechanic offer to fix stuff in this ad. And basically I take those 10 mistakes and I smush them down into 5 root cause problems. So we'll go through them now and we'll kind of give you a diagnosis here. So root cause problem 1, does it look like an ad, yes or no? Yours does not, so you do not have root cause problem number 1. Root cause problem number 2, an official See More headline with 4 specific attributes in here, getting really specific, that are actually tested in the marketplace with your women in your city. So yeah, you do have that root cause problem number 2. So that needs to be fixed if you want to get this ad up and running much better. Next potential root cause problem is the ad copy. And yeah, you're missing 2 out of 3 sections here. So that's a root cause problem for your ad being broken down, not running as good as it could or as good as you want it to. Next would be below creative headline and button. That's mistake 9. That's root cause problem number 3. And yes, you got that. So that's got to be fixed. And then half root cause problem number 5, which is your objective. I don't know which one you're using. Which, if it's leads, then it's definitely not going to the buyers. People with buyer data points on their profile. So what's that? So that's 1, 2, 3, 3.5. So 3.5 out of the 5 root cause problems you have that are causing your boudoir to be broken down, and so if you do want it to work better, get more leads, get more high-paying clients, more bookings, more perfect fit clients. Got 2 options to solve this. So option 1 is I charge $50 per root cause problem that I solve. So you got 3.5. You could choose to just have 1 fixed or 2 fixed or whatever, and you can use all these fixes on all the future ads you create as well. Or you could choose to have them all fixed. So it'd be $50 times 3.5, so $175. So that's option 1. Option 2 is the much higher value option, which is I'll work on all your ads, done for you. And, the first offer is done for you as well. But work on all your ads, as many as you create. And we can actually scale specific messages into your entire city, which none of your competitors will be doing, for $100 a month. As many ads as you want to run, as many fixes as we need to fix the 10 mistakes, but obviously they wouldn't have them because I'd be creating the ads from scratch. Or we could just focus on super improving this ad and scaling it with a bunch of different see more headlines to the same audience. Because different groups of women will respond to different words in the see more headline. So that's how we can scale into the same audience and not get capped out. Yeah, $100 a month. You can collab with me as much or as little as you want. But yeah, so both offers done for you. I'll be doing the work. So yeah, if you want any of these two offers, so you can get more high-paying boudoir clients, get more testimonials, grow and scale your business, live your best life, live the life you want, then yeah, hit me back. So you got my phone number, got my email, or whatever social platform you're watching this on. Shoot me a DM. So hit me up either of those ways, and then yeah, I'll ask you what you got for me, and then we'll go from there. All right, yeah, that's everything for now. Adios.